Ba-dam, bam, ba-dam, bam. Rocky. I don't know a theme song just because I'm not going to know a show because of a theme song I've never heard of. Still never seen Ted 2, but I feel like I have because I've seen literally every single clip
That's,
from it.
yeah, have you been on Instagram in the past 2 years? I haven't seen any episodes of the TV show either, but I feel like I have.
Dude, freaking F. Scott Fitzgerald bit. Like I should not
F
laugh at
him?
this at
Why
all.
F him?
Why are you saying F him? What did Scott Fitzgerald ever do to you? That's
No,
the
it's his
author's
name.
name. Well, we welcome you to Wilk and Wiss Week 10.
Hey,
Over halfway through the regular season at this point.
trade deadline passed. How about
It
that?
did. I'm Tanner Wilkinson. He's Cole Wissinger. Uh, a guy got moved with a Utah connection.
That's right.
We'll talk about him because he had a pretty good week last week, and will be interesting to see how he fits in with his new team. But starting with Thursday night, Cole, I watched this live. Alohi Gilman was great for the Ravens. They got in the win column back to back, they've won two in a row now, I believe. Fumble
hmm
recovery and 4 tackles for the recently acquired Alohi Gilman. He's fit in really well there. It's kind of opened things up for them to do some other stuff
It's
uh,
Kyle Hamilton, right?
with Kyle
Once you
Hamilton.
get an adult in the room that can play deep safety like Aloy Gilman, then Kyle Hamilton can do what he does best, and that's operate in the slot. You move Marlon Humphrey back outside, and the whole defense starts to go. This was, a historically bad defense for a large chunk of the season, right? They started slow last year too with the new defensive coordinator after Mike McDonald moved on to Seattle, and it was slow starting, but then they figured it out. This year it was even worse starting, but it was kind of that personnel stuff that now Aloy Gilman is the key that goes into the lock that allows everything to operate the way it should. Cincinnati, it's our weekly punter reference. Ryan Rico had a punt for 53 yards. It was inside the 20, so that's good.
One
All of a
punt,
sudden, Cincinnati's offense doesn't need a punter as much as it did early in the season because they have Joe Flacco.
and they're still losing games because they're allowing not. I mean, the Jets are a poor offense. That was poor. Chicago, they're allowing a good play caller.
Yeah.
Like Ben Johnson was cooking the way like four different guys attempted a pass for the Bears,
Mm-hmm.
including a pass to Caleb Williams from Tyson Bagent. Like Ben Johnson was in his bag.
This is the kind of defense that you can just like pull some of that stuff out against. And then at the end of the game, they still needed every single point that they got for Chicago to get the win because apparently Cincinnati's offense is this good. And by the way, Jalen Johnson is a guy that we normally would mention every single week. Let's mention the fact that the Bears defense doesn't have Jalen Johnson right now as a reason why Cincinnati did so good.
Yeah, they miss him a lot. I think he's getting close. It wasn't a season-ending IR, I know, with Jalen, so I think he's
Yeah,
getting close to
initially
coming back.
there was a fear that it would be season
Yeah,
ending, and then so
yeah. Jordan Love for the Packers. Boy, we'll talk about this. Our guest is a Panthers fan. We had a Packer fan on last week, having a Panthers fan on this week. Jordan Love, 26 of 37, 273 yards and a pick. The Packers moved the ball decently at times, but drives stalled out. There were a couple of untimely turnovers, missed field goal,
Jordan
and
Love also had that non-pick that gets blasted over social media, even though like all 22 tells you it wasn't as bad as it was, but it was kind of indicative of the day that they had where they got
yep.
into the red zone and they could not do anything. Cody Barton for Tennessee. The Titans are on bye this week, but he had 5 tackles, an interception, and a touch, reaching for a touchdown last week.
Yeah, and they gave a good effort for a minute.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
for a minute.
eventually they're the Titans.
They're the
So
Titans, yeah. Caden Ellis for the Falcons, who did give a really good effort, came up short against a good New England team. 6 tackles, did have a pass breakup against his brother Christian Ellis, who got hurt in this game. But Christian does not really have a Utah tie because he didn't play high school football in Utah, and then he went and played at Idaho as well, like his
right,
brother.
and a
So it's
lot of
just
the
kind of fascinating.
Ellis's, yeah. So
He's
so we
he's the
keep
one
the
that doesn't have a Utah connection, other than maybe he was probably born here, probably like
right or
has
spent time
family.
at he played
Yeah,
Pee Wee. Yeah, we'll throw
yeah.
that in there. We both went 7-7 on our picks last week. That Atlanta, I felt so good about that Atlanta pick for so much of that game because I stuck my neck out a little bit. All three of us picked the Giants though, and they
Oof.
did not get that win. Jackson, not for lack of effort by Jackson Dart, 24 of 33, 191 passing. Didn't light the world on fire, but 2 touchdowns, also 6 carries and 56 yards and a touchdown running. No turnovers.
I'm loving Jackson Dart in fantasy football. Has been great for me in a couple leagues this year. Speaking of getting in the end zone, Jalen Warren not going to put up the yardage he's put up in recent weeks, but found the end zone twice, 16 carries, 31 yards, did get in the end zone twice. Pittsburgh got the big upset win. Couple
Yeah,
big upsets
and
this week.
I did not have the heart to pick that one, and that's how Colby Wilk was able to get up on us. He finished at 9-5, which is just a win off of taking the lead. So Seth still the leader at 10-5 for the pick'em. Dalton Schultz has become an invaluable part of this Houston offense with half of their normal targets injured and then the rookies not stepping up totally to where they should be. But 6 receptions, 77 yards. And the Texans come up short because of Denver's pass. And that one was so very close for so much of the game
Hmm.
because the Denver offense refuses to be good. But Denver gets
Yeah.
the win.
Puka Nakua back. Back for, well, got hurt again, but coming off the bye, he's going to play this week, from what I understand. 7 catches, 95 yards a score. Doing Puka.
That's right.
That
Good
touchdown
to
was
be able
amazing.
to.
Did you see the reaction from, I think it was, one of the D linemen for the Rams? Like they had a camera on him when Puka made that touchdown catch, and he kind of did the like, like he was disgusted by it because it was so good.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That reaction made the rounds on
I'm
social
trying to
media.
remember who it was. Anyway, but yeah, good name for Puka. Good game for another wide receiver. Different result though.
Yeah, the Saints don't win, but that's because the Saints don't win. But Rashid Shaheed is going to go to a more winning team at the end of this. He had 5 receptions and 68 yards in his last game as a Saint. That was a mess of a game, just from top to bottom from
I
the
mean,
Rams. And we saw a lot more Taysom Hill. He doesn't make his name onto this stat sheet, but
he
we're
took a
seeing
lot of
more and more.
snaps,
Mm-hmm.
and the problem was they read him really. The Saints or the Ram
See
defense
through.
read him so it was super obvious anytime. Which that's how bad Tyler Shuck was. So much better Spencer. Like the fact that I'm saying Spencer Rattler should still be the starter. That's how bad Shuck was in his first start. Yeah.
But Rashid Shaheed doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Now he's catching bombs from Sam Darnold, the
It
best
was
statistical deep ball thrower in the league this year.
that was a good move by Seattle. Didn't he give up much? And Rashid's a great story. I mean, and he owes New Orleans big time for helping turn him into a receiver because he was just a return man. He hardly ever caught the ball at Weber State. Like
Yep.
he made it to the NFL specifically because he was fast and could return balls well. And yeah, he's gonna make some more money off of it. So
Big news for Rashid Shaheed. It looks like he will be, in fact, wearing number 22 for Seattle. Just a strange receiver number that Matthew Golden almost went in that direction over the offseason. Then he changed his mind. I kind of like it especially for a former return man, right? Devin Hester
yeah,
wore a number in the 20s or 23. So I think it works for him. I found some pics from practice of Rashid Shaheed that I thought about using for our thumbnail this week. I'm going to wait until he gets on the field next week,
I
and then we'll
like
bring
it.
it in.
I like it. Buffalo gets the big win in the regular season against Patrick Mahomes. I got to be honest, when Matt Prater doinked that, I thought, oh, here we go.
Oh,
Here we go. But Dalton Kincaid, man, has had a very underrated season. 6 catches, 101 yards, and a score for him. And then Cole Bishop had his best game as a pro, in my opinion. Was all over the place. 4 pass breakups against a pass-heavy Mahomes offense. Had a TFL and 7 tackles as well.
also, Jackson Hawes has been having an incredible season, pride of Highland High School. Dalton Kincaid is going to be on the thumbnail of this YouTube video. Spoiler, we got a couple more guys to talk about, but he's going to be my pick for player of the week. But also what Jackson Hawes is doing as another tight end with Utah ties on this. Buffalo last year, just like a little bit of analytics, was such a heavy personnel, like six offensive lineman kind of team last year to try to run the ball, as the push and pull between and defensive scheming goes, progresses ever onward. Teams are trying to figure out how to get base personnel on the other side, and it's by tight ends and offensive linemen. Jackson Hawes is such a physical blocker that can also go out and catch, that he is able to change the math a little bit. He's a very unsung hero for this Buffalo Bills team, where he'll show up for like 1 or 2 catches a week, but the fact that he can get 1 or 2 catches is a lot more than they were getting from a sixth offensive lineman last year. But he benefits, and he has the same benefit of being a great blocker. So Haas,
Right.
I listened to a couple other podcasts about the NFL, and he's getting his name shouted out around the league, especially as a rookie, for a really hard position to come in as a rookie and make a difference.
And, not a day 1 or 2 pick.
No.
Real impressive, yeah, with what Jackson Hawes has done for sure.
Bobby Wagner, the last guy from primetime.
Oh, Bobby.
And 7 tackles, had a tackle for loss, but then this Washington team going to be without Jaden Daniels again and just not having the season they were hoping for.
Yeah, it's boy, it that injury just broke my heart. And the weird, right, we talked about the comparisons of Alex Smith to Joe Theismann. The injuries happen against the same team on the same area of the field, like all these things, same day, all this stuff.
But now we're making comparisons to another Washington quarterback.
That luck in this case, different injury, different time of the year, but like the same yard line against the same team in the same stadium. Like, what is the deal? And Commander fans sadly know what the deal is there. So, uh, Cole, Kincaid's your guy.
Kincaid's my vote this week.
I'm going to go with Kincaid as well. The significance of the win, right? It's Kansas City. There's all that talk. Alohi Gilman should get a lot of love too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Alohi Gilman would be a close number two. Cole Bishop, I think, would be my number three this
Puka in his
week.
return was
And Puka,
actually my number two.
and
Mm-hmm.
Puka, that's the thing. Like we had a lot to choose from this
That
week.
game was so easy that it didn't feel like Puka was a difference maker because they could have been trotting out you and me at receiver and still probably gotten the win against New Orleans. But, it's good to
Yeah,
see him back. And he got a touchdown.
that's right. We welcome our guest for today. He's the biggest Carolina Panthers fan I know, and he joined us 2 seasons ago. If you remember, Cole was gone. This was, I believe, Thanksgiving weekend or
Yes,
week
yes, it
of
was.
Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
So, first time all three of us have been together now on the show. We welcome Colin Stoolmaker to the show. Colin, have the Panthers figured it out?
I'd like to think we're finally about there. Even as a diehard Panthers fan, I still think that we have another piece or two that we really need to put together before we're finally there, ready to compete. But do I think we're going to make the playoffs in a decently weak NFC South? Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I think we're going to push the Bucks for the division this year. I'm confident in that we'll be able to actually do that.
Man, I love talking to delusional fans. It is my favorite part of this show. We had Colby on last week, and then we got the guy that delivered the Packers a devastating loss this week. This is good to see.
Well, okay, here's my thing. You can't put me on the same level of delusional as Green Bay fans right now.
Oh, okay, good.
I feel like that's two separate, there's levels to this, as they say.
And then you just got the Cardinal and Steeler fans that pick against their team every week as the hosts of this show. So, what you said a missing piece though. In your eye, what is the missing piece for this Panther squad?
Realistically, I think that our secondary on defense still needs a little bit more help. I do like that we extended and signed on with Horn for as long as we have. He's been injury prone, but I do think that he's going to be a solid piece that we can build around. Derek Brown coming back on the line is fantastic. We needed that after his injury last year. But realistically, I mean, the Panthers that I grew up with, knowing, loving, everything like that, I mean, Luke Kinkley and the entire squad Shaq Thompson that they had back there. Like we've seen some A plus. I mean, Julius Peppers coming off D end as well. Like we've seen some all timers as Panthers fans over the last decade. And right now, I don't feel like our linebacker squad is where it needs to be, or really our safeties. So until that happens, I mean, you're going to have games like against the Bills where, they're put up 40 on our heads.
But I mean, the Panthers have been kind of part of that yo-yo back and forth team this year. They've got it figured out, but I think the Panthers are one of those teams this year that drive the story. The story of the NFL this year, I think, has been how important the trenches are. Again, we've gone through waves. Quarterback is obviously very, very important, but the success of the Colts specifically this year
Yes.
and the Panthers just go to prove that when you have the offensive line figured out, it can cover up a lot of struggles.
Oh, I mean, and I will fully agree with that. I mean, we can transition this if we wanted to into the Panthers running back room right now.
Yes.
Dowdle versus Chuba. I mean, Chuba was our guy. I was fully bought in with him. And then Dowdle goes in and breaks any record I can possibly think of for a backup going in for 2-3 games. And now he's on the starting spot. But that wouldn't be without the offensive line. I don't actually think Dowdle is, the greatest running back in the league right now, but he's definitely behind a good enough line that it matters again.
He's got the greatest celebration, though.
Yeah.
Ian
Listen, there's some good ones.
Okay. Looking at Andy, a big thing we focused on 2 years ago when you were on the show was Bryce Young's development. Where have you seen him grow the most in these last couple years? It's been very up and down for him, injuries, benching, but at the end of the day, he's still proving he's the same Bryce Young from college. The dude is a leader, and it seems like that's definitely come to fruition a lot more as of late.
No, absolutely. And realistically, going down Bryce Young's entire timeline with the Panthers, I feel like when if you would have asked me right as the benching happened last season with Andy Dalton and everything like that, I would have said, I'm out. I officially throw in the towel. We've seen enough, year and a half, 2 years, and nothing has changed since his draft day. But I feel like that was actually the best thing that ever happened to him, to be able to take the back seat to a veteran like Andy Dalton for a few games, come back in, kind of regain the locker room, regain that leadership aspect by showing them, no, I can be that guy. And then now going into this year, I feel like that's been the only I feel like the biggest thing between this year and last year with the team as a whole is just the culture and the way that people are actually going to the games, attending. People are excited again, which is something we haven't had on that team in years. And I feel like Bryce's leadership and confidence is the thing that's bringing that back.
Maybe Dave Canales is the new Ted Lasso of the NFL. There's the believe out there. Well, I wanted to hit on the NFC or the NFC South. You mentioned if there's a year you guys could sneak, Tampa Bay's so banged up, as talented as they are and as good as Baker's been. There's a lot of injuries in Tampa Bay. The Falcons have been a disaster to some extent, a disaster. And then there's just the Saints, who we all knew was going to be it was going to be bad. There was Kellen Moore was inheriting a cap mess, a roster mess. How do you feel about not just this season? How do you feel about you guys going forward in this division?
No, I mean, realistically here, I feel more confident than I feel like any other team in our division can feel right now. I mean, you have the Saints, who they need to go back to Econ 101 or maybe take a personal finance class. You can't pay everybody, and that's just how it works. And they're learning the hard way what happens when you try to. So they're going to be a dumpster fire for at least 2 to 3 more years before they get that under control. The Falcons, I mean, here's my problem with the Falcons is that I actually love what they've done in recent drafts, questionable picks, taking quarterbacks when you just signed Kirk, or going out and getting Bijan when you went and got Algier right before. Like there's been a lot of great talent that goes there, but at this point, it has to be just in the coaching staff or the management. There's not really a way that, in my mind, I can justify what they're doing right now with the talent they have on that team. Now, the Bucks, I mean, I think it's going to be just a battle between the Panthers and the Buccaneers for probably the next 2 to 3 years in that division. I mean, Tampa Bay hit as well as you can hit with Puka going over there. He has been one of the most electric rookies to watch all season long. I think it's going to be a battle, but apparently my delusions are coming back to me here, and I'm still taking them. The Panthers, we can overcome Tampa Bay. That's a hill we can climb.
Dude, I love to hear it. I honestly, I think it is down between those two. Atlanta has fallen off, and Tampa Bay, for all of the great personnel decisions that they have made through the years to keep their team very relevant and, one of the more underappreciated teams going into every season, their injuries and just some of the stuff on the field, losing an offensive coordinator every single year is eventually, like, it's starting to eat into them. They're not just, lock it in, pencil it in as the division champions. I think, Panthers fans have a right to be just a little bit delusional.
Listen, as long as we keep it under wraps, that's good enough for me. Like I said, I think we're winning a Super Bowl this year? No, there's plenty of teams better than us right now. But for the first time since Cam Newton Supermaning into the end zone in 2015, are we excited again? Yes, 100%.
As you should be. Let's get to the picks. Cole, 4 teams on bye this week, so that's 2 less games. Got to have a better percentage than 10-5, Colin, for the $25 gift card.
Okay.
A Broncos fan is currently in possession of that right now in the lead. So
I
uh,
cannot let that happen. Honestly, if we're transitioning over to this segment, I am going to just quickly bring up my Pick'ems league. I already have everything set for the week. I'm ready to go through that.
speaking of the Broncos, let's do it. Week 10's Thursday night matchup, Vegas in Denver. Vegas had a big boost getting Brock Bowers back last week and still lost.
Yes.
The Broncos should win this game. I mean, it is a divisional game. You never quite know. Denver's going to win this game, though.
See, this is
I
my
mean,
funky one. Denver's been playing it way too close for way too long in so many of these games. In prime time, Brock Bowers, as you mentioned, is back. As long as Geno doesn't come out and throw interceptions on two of the first three drives in prime time, if the Raiders can just hang around, I'm gonna give them this one chance. That's much more about how Denver has been trying to throw games away in recent weeks. I think eventually they lose one of these.
so I just need to confirm here. Are you officially taking? Are you taking the Raiders
I'm
tonight?
taking the
Then?
Raiders tonight. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I think we can start talking about delusions, and you and me can both end up in the same, therapy unit here. No, I will not be joining you on the Raiders tonight. It After what I've seen this season, Geno Smith couldn't read a picture book, let alone an NFL style defense. Broncos are going to win this game by 20. We're going to say 24. Broncos are taking
Oof.
it.
All right. Sunday morning, international games are back from Olympia Stadium in Berlin. The Falcons are going up against the Colts. The Colts are going to have to travel. Like, travel's always funky for these international games, but coming off of the game that they just had against the Steelers, you got to hold up a little bit better and not allow the pressure to Daniel Jones. Atlanta had been doing really good at that, but I don't know if the rookie pass rushers travel, and I think Indianapolis gets this.
I'm going to take the under at 6.5, but I still like the Colts getting this win. I think there's some emotional boost whether Sauce Gardner plays or not with the concussion. It sounds like he's going to play. Talk about a team that went all in this week in Indianapolis. And
Mhm.
I like that they did. I like the aggressiveness. They feel that momentum. And I get that sometimes that can bite you in the butt later on. But for right now, I think Indy bounces back nicely this week. And it'll be a close game, but I like them beating the Falcons.
No, absolutely. I fully agree. I love the Colts in this game, and I love the move for Sauce Gardner. I mean, talk about an generational talent at that position. Just going out and spend what you have to spend, go get your guy. I fully love the move, and I think that they have that one.
Well, and let's talk Sauce going from worst vibes the last couple years in the NFL to arguably the best vibes this season after the Colts were kind of in that rut and suddenly new ownership. This is by the way one of the few times I've seen ownership get passed down a generation in a family and it's actually gone well. Now it's still very early, but very rarely when you pass generations, it that next generation sometimes messes it up really bad too. So shout out to the Colts for doing that. Giants are in Chicago. The Bears put up 47 against a bad defense. They also gave up 42 points. I'm still going to take the Bears at home. I think the Giants still just are missing too much and are too banged up. If Scadaboo and Neighbors were here, this would be a easy pick for me to go with the Giants, but I'm going to go with Chicago at home.
Yeah, I take Chicago here as well.
Absolutely, yeah. No, Chicago in this, even though I do love Jackson Dart, and I think they have a lot of fun rookies right now. Chicago's has it at Soldier Field.
Ben
Bills
Johnson's in
and
his bag too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ben Johnson's rolling.
Bills and Dolphins. It was a closer game than maybe it should have been the first time that they played in prime time. This is going to be one of those early window red zone games that you look up every so often, and the Bills are attacking 10 and 15 more at a time. I'd take the Bills by a lot.
Yeah, there won't be a lot shown in this game because, yeah, I think it's a blowout. Miami's so depleted. Just firing of your general manager. Not sure what the coaching staff,
Head coach is coming.
head coach is coming. Yeah, it's going to be Buffalo big time.
Oh, absolutely. No, they have that game easily. It's anyone who thinks Miami's winning that one. Once again, we're going back to delusional.
Baltimore is in Minnesota. Is J.J. McCarthy the real deal? It's going to be interesting against this Raven defense that's been much better since getting the former Orem High School star Loie Gilman. I like the Ravens. I think they've got enough momentum going right now. I'm still just not 100% sold on consistency with JJ McCarthy yet. This could be his game though, that he proves some people wrong. I'm still going to take the Ravens.
I'm paying way more attention to Minnesota's defensive side of things. JJ McCarthy could certainly go to an NFC championship game if everything is perfect around him. And coming into the season, there were a lot of big name talking heads that thought that this Minnesota situation was capital P perfect. Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in the league, Brian Flores spitting fire on the defense. Defense has been kind of underwhelming, and so JJ McCarthy is going to have to do a little bit more, and I don't think he's ready for it. I take Baltimore.
Absolutely. I love the focus on Minnesota's defense here. Realistically, for me, I they just got back Andrew Van Ginkel. That's a huge upgrade for them back on the defensive front. But I mean, the Ravens are just coming off that electric win against the Bears at home over the last couple of weeks. And since then, I think that team is officially back. They can take Minnesota. I don't think JJ McCarthy's up for it.
Next up, Cleveland and the biggest sellers at the trade deadline. Not only do they not have Sauce Gardner anymore, but also Quinnen Williams, not Quincy Williams, has also left. But there were times when Quincy Williams was also on the block, and Brees Hall, and just about everyone else. But some of that team does come back, and they have to host the Browns. Talk about the teams with the worst vibes. Here's a game for you, and I guess I'm picking the Browns, but this one's weird.
I'm actually going to be in New York. Well, I'm supposed to be in New York on Sunday. We'll see if that holds with flights and everything like that. Tickets are pretty cheap to this game. I still don't think I'm going to have time to make it work. I've already seen the Jets in person once this year, and that it was against a good team. I don't need to see two bad teams. I'm going to take the Jets just out of a coin toss, I guess. I'm just going to go with New York.
Well, now I have to ask the follow-up question. When you went and saw the Jets, did they hand out the paper bags at the door? Did you have to bring that from home? Because
I was wearing
we're back to that point.
I was wearing a Cardinals hat, and that basically counts as a paper bag at this point. But
Hey.
it was bad. It was bad. James Cook made that whole team look like the record shows they are.
Yes. But anyway, I am actually going to follow Cole on this one and go with the Browns. I just think the Jets, after selling shop and just going into the rebuild, the entire energy of that team's dead. It's over for them. They're not winning anything else this year.
Going into the rebuild, did they manage to build anything the last time that they rebuilt? That's
I mean, Garrett Wilson was cool to watch some highlight clips, sauce, but
Yeah, could see more of that coming this summer. New England is at Tampa Bay, the Tom Brady Bowl. I love Drake May. He has probably been my favorite quarterback to watch this year across the whole league with Joe Burrow out. I love me some Joe Burrow, but man, Drake May is legit. And I think with some of the injuries Tampa Bay's got, I'm going to take the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, in a competition for who's our favorite quarterback to watch, Baker Mayfield has to be at the top of that list too. And I am going to take Tampa Bay. I think there's going to be a couple of these close ones that if Tampa Bay can just eke them out, that's a tight division race, but I'll take the Bucks.
personally speaking here, I think that I'm going to have to go with Drake May and the Patriots. I think that he has just been throwing the way he throws the deep ball is just unstoppable right now. I mean, they're burning every safety in the league, and I think it's going to keep happening this week.
I love when we have a guest on and we all find an excuse to pick their team. We're not going to have to stretch this week. The New Orleans Saints go on the road to face the Carolina Panthers, and 1, 2, 3, everybody, Panthers.
Panthers.
Get the
Yep,
win.
yep, there it is. This level of happiness and confidence hasn't been here in years. And it's so happy to finally have people picking us against the worst team. Normally that doesn't happen.
Jacksonville at Houston. This is the closest spread of the week, just 1.5 in favor of Jacksonville. I like Houston's momentum right now, even though they lost that Denver game and they have issues. Even if CJ Stroud doesn't play in this game, I don't love the way things are going in Jacksonville. They also had a close game and eked it out against the Raiders. I think Houston's playing a little bit better football right now, especially on the defensive side. So I'm going to take the Texans.
Yeah, but I, I'm gonna find a guy on every defensive front that goes up against Houston's offensive line that is a reason why Houston will lose. Last week they went against the best defensive line in football, but Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker are very good themselves. I take Jacksonville.
I'm going to follow you on that Jacksonville pick. Also, because of the defensive line. I mean, they just have a lot of talent there. Houston's line's going to get eaten up again.
Tanner, your Cardinals are going against the division leading tied for Seattle Seahawks. And I take the Seahawks here.
No, I'm taking Seattle as well. Arizona made the right decision. We've talked about this the last couple weeks. Jacoby Brissett's the right answer for right now. Still doesn't mean they're going to be a playoff team, but it gives you direction for the future now, right? You know Kyler Murray is not the guy. And yeah, they put
And
him on
Kyler's out
IR.
4 to 8 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's to save face. That's to save face. And try to keep his value up if you try to trade that awful contract this summer, which I think you just cut him loose. I think that's what's going to happen. But you have direction, which is a good thing as a Cardinals fan. That's kind of what this season was about for me. I knew the defense had a chance to be really good. It all came down to Kyler. We have our answer, and I'm still taking Seattle to win this week.
No, and I will fully agree with both of you. Seattle's going to win this game. I will say, just focusing on this game with you being a Cardinals fan and everything like that, from an outsider's perspective, my thoughts with the entire team really have just been that for the last 2 or 3 years, I feel like you could never judge other players on the team because it was always Kyler Murray and questions and injuries and attitude problems, practice. Like there was always something weird going on there. So even when you get your Trey McBrides, Marvin Harris, all these good ball receivers, you can now actually see who's good and who's not because you have someone competent behind quarterback.
Get that baseline.
Oh,
Yeah. Honestly, not to give away any dynasty strategy, but Marvin Harrison could be a buy right now.
Well,
Mhm.
here's what's interesting about that. I have Marvin in our Guillotine League, Cole. His projected points jumped 1.85 after they announced Brissett was starting again this week.
Yeah.
Wow.
You put in your backup quarterback and all of a sudden your receivers are doing better. You sure it's your backup?
That says something.
Says a lot. Yeah. Other big division matchup in the NFC West, the Rams in San Francisco. The Niners still have won games despite not having anybody. That's not going to happen this week. I liked LA's focus coming off their bye week, and I think that carries over another week. I'm taking the Rams.
This is a great game of the week contender too, because this was such a close game the first time these two teams played, but I think the Rams get it this time.
No, I'm all right. I will go against the grain here. I'm taking San Francisco in this one. To me, with the system they have over there, it does not matter who's behind the quarterback, it doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. They're going to find a way to score, and they're taking another one.
And Christian McCaffrey, by the way, it's gone from sacrificing players on his own team to stay healthy to sacrificing his own brother in DC.
Oh.
So is he going to have anyone left? I don't know. I don't know.
Let's go from the injury-riddled 49ers to the injury-riddled Washington Commanders. They go up against a Detroit team that had a loss last week against Minnesota, but is still one of the top 5 teams in the league. I take Detroit.
After what happened last year in the playoffs and given Washington's current stat, this is going to be the biggest blowout of the week. Even with, some of these other games that we've talked about being blowouts, this is going to be the biggest blowout, hands down, what Detroit wins big time.
Could not agree more. It's so sad what's happened to Jaden Daniels and everything there. I mean, why he was in that game, none of us will ever know. But yeah, Detroit's going to win this, cover the spread, go take the over on them, just slam it home.
Pittsburgh is in LA to take on the Chargers Sunday Night Football. I like the Steelers. I like that they kind of got past that Aaron Rodgers quote-unquote revenge game. They looked great last week against the Colts. And the Chargers just have so many injuries as well. Losing Joe Alt now for the rest of the year is a huge blow to them. I think Aaron Rodgers takes advantage of that this week.
The Tomlin storyline up until this year has always been he'll look really great against great teams in primetime and make you, fool you into thinking they're good and then just blow like a random Sunday at 1 o'clock game and not get it done. The fact that this is the third primetime game in 4 weeks and they lost to Cincinnati and Green Bay, got that great win against a really good team against Indianapolis. I think I take the Chargers here and just go with the fact that maybe the Steelers have something weird going on with primetime.
Wow, against your, I feel
2
like
weeks
I
in a
can't
row.
not pick Pittsburgh. Then if the fan of the team isn't even picking them,
Yeah,
I'm looking at my sleeper pick'ems league right now, and I have Pittsburgh. I'm picking Pittsburgh. I that defense is so much fun to watch right now. I don't see how anyone's getting through it.
1 week of being really good is awesome, and the fact that the Chargers have neither of their starting offensive tackles again gives me some
Mm-hmm.
hope that the edge rushers will do something, but hope is a dangerous thing.
Big one on Monday night, to say the least. Philadelphia is at Green Bay. Packers are a 2.5 point favorite. I'm taking Philadelphia. I think it takes Green Bay a game or two to find a way without Tucker Kraft. Like he's been that good and that valuable for them this year. That's a huge loss. I believe they're getting Jaden Reed back and getting, a couple other guys back in the mix. But um, I also just think Philly's got Green Bay's number right now. It's kind of one of those. Is it a mental block for the Packers right now? And maybe Green Bay just plays to the level of their opponent, right? Maybe that's what this ultimately comes down to and what this team's going to be. But I take Philadelphia this week.
And remind me, which one was the team in the offseason that wanted to ban the tush push? They might come out and just run three straight to start the game. Just to remind, and I mean, now during the course of the season, public opinion has definitely swayed, and all of us realize that there's no way to officiate it, and maybe we got to look into drastic changes, and maybe the Packers were right, but it didn't pass, and so the Eagles still can do it this year, and I do pick the Eagles in this game.
No, and I'm going to follow both of you with that one. I think fly, Eagles, fly. Realistically, I think that Green Bay is going to take a big mental hit with this Tucker Kraft injury. And I think it's going to take more than 1 or 2 games to bounce back from that.
I think this is a low-scoring game, too. I think there's a chance this is a
call.
slugfest, like a 13-10 type finish.
And it's going to be cold in Green Bay, too.
Yep.
Unless Jalen Hurts decides to show up and actually throw the football the way he wants to.
Jordan Love's done that a couple times too. I think that long term, like LaFleur is gonna have the Packers playing just fine, even without Tucker Kraft, even without anyone. There's a lot of it's not interchangeable pieces, but he's able to game plan in a very special way in the league. So long term, I think I'm a little bit rosier on the Packers' outlook, but this week, they're going up against one of the best teams.
Yeah. Well, Colin, great to have you on. Great to have the whole crew together this time. The way it works.
Absolutely.
We knew you were a strong candidate after the big win last week, and hey, man, keep pounding. It's got to be a fun thing. I can't wait for that day when I'm in your shoes, and it's suddenly fun to be a Cardinals fan again.
I think 2015 was a good chance at it, actually, but something happened in the championship game.
Huh. If he would have just picked up the fumble, if he would have just picked it up.
Oh, and Cole's mentioning you guys beating the crap out of us.
Cardinals.
Oh, yes.
In the championship game, because that was really the last time it was enjoyable for a full season to be a Cardinals fan. But I digress. Great to have you on, man. Best of luck with the pick'em this week, and we'll look forward to having you on again in the future.
No, absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me back on. Next time you're looking to, chop it up about some Panthers football or whatever else, give me a call. Let me know.
Let's talk ball.
We'll make it happen. Thanks, Colin.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Cole, thank you, my brother. Always good to be on with you. You and I got high school football playoff action the next few days, and I got hopefully some JUCO football on Saturday in New York that I'll be calling.
Safe travels. I always say it, but I mean it.
Busy week this week. And we'll have to figure out next week because there's a chance I may be hopping off a plane in Scranton, PA next week. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not as well for multiple reasons. We'll leave it at that. But always good to be with you, my man, and let's enjoy some ball this weekend.
Let's do it.
Once again, this has been Wilk and Wiss, your weekly update on Utah athletes in the National Football League. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and we'll see you all next week.